Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another YouTube video. So today we're going to be talking about Flins, our brand new Electro Lunar Charged DPS. As we saw in the Nodcry trailer, he looks amazing. The aura he is farming is insane. He literally looks like the Genjin Song Jinwoo. But anyways, you want to know what he does, how strong he is, and how he actually works. Right, let's get right into it. So he is obviously an Electro DPS, he is a light keeper, and he is mainly focused on doing damage via his elemental skill, but it's important for his combos because his skill actually changes his elemental burst. So just for some context, his elemental skill, it's basically like pikes, or should we say poles, totems, whatever you want to call it. He is really focused on using his skill quite a lot, to be honest. It is what gives him Electro Infusion. However, his elemental skill, it makes it so he can obviously not be overridden, so he can't do a different element if he's in a skill, and he can't plunge. Now, what's important is his burst is, unfortunately, if you don't like the way how Verisa is, well, you might not like the way how Flins plays, because his kit is very, and I mean very similar to Verisa. His elemental burst, his normal burst, is 70 energy cost, and his special burst is actually a 30 energy cost. Now, what is interesting is, despite Verisa being very focused on overload, occasional electro charge, as well as can be used if you want to aggravate, which I don't recommend, Flint is literally focused for lunar charged. Okay, now one thing that's important to understand is that his cooldowns on his elemental skill is exactly 16 seconds. Being said, and having a 30 cost burst, it has no cooldown, so the only limitations is that it can only be activated from his elemental skill. So if you want the special burst, you're gonna have to use elemental skill. That means that his rotations are gonna be kind of like Chlorand, which are pretty short, like a short burst of damage, you know. So characters that function on a longer rotation, maybe like Furina, you know, when she uses her E and has her puppets out. Xingqiu, Yelan, characters that have a very long uptime, as well as a long rotation, it's gonna like make it where it's very hard to use him, and it kind of moves you away from having the same old Fontaine supports and maybe your old OG supports. It's gonna be more tailored towards Natlan supports, if that makes sense. But most of his damage, I'll be completely honest with you, is lunar charged. His own personal damage, it isn't bad, but him as a character, it's mainly focused on reactions. He's a reaction based character, I'll be completely honest with you. His skill, unfortunately, is not lunar charged, it's literally electro charged, so you're not going to be getting any benefit from the whole, you know, lunar charge reaction, which is the whole thing that's being shown off in Nodcry. But his elemental burst, his special burst, which can be, you know, casted multiple times because it's 30 energy cost, it is considered lunar charge. So you can see where I'm going with this. It's very similar to Verisa in being, you know, using his special burst. It kind of sucks because his elemental burst that he has is actually really cool. The animation power creep is insane. He actually looks really cool. Now, his passives, I'm gonna be completely honest with you, his passives are literally just focused around a lunar charged and giving him more reaction damage as well as EM buffing. That's literally it. Most characters have passives that give them buffing for like certain things in their kit or for the team. He literally just gets lunar charge damage buff, EM buff, this buff, Nodcry buff. Oh, another thing, Nodcry, yeah, him being a Nodcry character, you know, the whole idea of having team restrictions, well, basically there's a new team restriction similar to Night Soul, well, we had Night Soul Burst, as you guys all know. It meant you could reduce the cooldown and obviously do more damage if you had Cinder City. Whereas this time in Nodcry, it is called Moon Sign. Moon Sign basically means the number of Nodcry characters in the team. Each unit, it is quite interesting. Each character has their own unique Moon Sign passive that benefits the entire team. And these passives actually unlock different effects. So this is based off 1 or 2 units. This basically means that like there's an artifact set at the moment which gives you more crit rate if you have a specific number of Nodcry characters. And before there was in the first beta, Nodcry characters, you needed at least 2 to 3 characters, which was insane. Ridiculous. Actually ridiculous. That was ridiculous. All for the fact that the idea of having 45% more crit rate. Which is crazy, in my opinion. That's like trying to force people to get 3 characters from Natlan just so your Mavwika can hit hard. Now, an example of this is like, obviously, Mavwika uses Sitlali. Everyone pushed the idea of you need Jillinan. Even I did, because when she first came out, it was just Jillinan gave you your ultimate really quickly for Mavwika. Whereas now you don't necessarily need to bring Jillinan. Sometimes people still do, but the reality is for Nodcry to get an extra 45% crit rate just to have 2 more characters, not including Flins, by the way. 3 characters are ridiculous. Thank God they reduced it from 1 to 2. So thank God. This means that you don't necessarily need to get 3 characters. You can run other supports or other people from different regions, which is lovely. Now, Again, as I said, his baseline for damage is kind of ignored because he's primarily focused as a reaction-based character based off his special burst. But Flins as a DPS, he is going to be someone who ages like fine wine. As of right now, his best in-slot support is available in Effa. She's available right now. You can get her, and she is going to be the bread and butter of what helps Flins do more lunar charge damage. Okay, she is literally what's gonna make him go from, yeah, you want to do crazy damage with him, yeah. It's not, I personally would argue that the damage required from Flins without an effort is significantly higher than the requirements you would need, say, oh, you need a Scofier with freaking Skirk. Like, obviously Skirk needs a Scofier, but not as much as Flins does. Like, yeah, he gonna need that. Which is unfortunate, but the likelihood is Columbina will probably be a Hydro, whatever, support, whatever, that will benefit Flins and make him go from pretty decent to pretty good with an effort to being actually S tier, up with the ranks of Mavwika, Novulet. I can expect him to be really, really good, and likely in future, if he does, be on par with Verisa, if not power creep Verisa. It's kind of early to say because Verisa came out literally in 5.5, I think. So to have her power creep so soon is quite crazy, I'm not gonna lie. But then again, we had Arlecchino and she kind of got power crept by Mavwika, the Power Archon. So yeah. There we are. There's my thoughts. That's what I have to say. And if you guys want to summon for Flins, I wish you all the best of luck. Again, he might get changed regards to his kit, but the whole idea of him having the Nodcry Moon Sign change, that was wonderful. He's looking pretty interesting, and I must say, for a male character, I'm excited for him. I actually kind of want to pull for him. I'm not going to lie. Yeah. Anyways, it's been your boy. Please do consider dropping a like, subscribing to the channel if you are new, and turn post notifications on. I'll see you guys next one. Peace!